In Dungeons & Dragons, your character has a range of skills that they know that they can use to accomplish different tasks, and today we're going to be talking about what they are and how to use them. To use a skill, you make a skill check, which is done by rolling a d20, add in the relevant ability modifier, and then add in your proficiency bonus if you are proficient in that skill. You'll also add any other modifiers here that apply, and then compare the result to the difficulty class set by the Dungeon Master. Like with all things in D&D, if the result of your skill check is equal to or higher than the DC set by the DM, you succeed, otherwise you fail. Skills are tied directly to your ability scores, which we talked about in the last episode, but they are specific enough to require additional skill to achieve. Get it? Puns. Just because your character is naturally charismatic doesn't mean that they're automatically a great performer, for example, or can tell a convincing lie under pressure. This is where your proficiency bonus comes into play. When you make your character, your race, class, or another rule is going to tell you which skills you're proficient in, meaning you can add your proficiency bonus to skill checks with those skills. The skills available to your character in D&D are acrobatics, which represents your ability to stay on your feet in a tricky situation. Animal handling, which is used to calm and interact with animals. Arcana, which represents your knowledge of spells and magical items and symbols. Athletics, which covers physical tasks like climbing, jumping, and swimming. Deception, which determines how well you can lie and deceive other characters. History, which is your ability to recall information about the world and its people. Insight, which helps you determine the true intention of a character by reading their body language, expression, or speech pattern. Intimidation, which allows you to influence others using threats and coercion. Investigation, which allows you to gather clues and make deductions based on evidence. Medicine, which allows you to stabilize the dying and diagnose illnesses. Nature, which represents your ability to recall information about terrain, plants, animals, and the natural world. Perception, which represents your awareness and allows you to see and hear things around you. Performance, which represents your ability to perform in front of a crowd. Persuasion, which allows you to influence others in a social setting. Religion, which allows you to recall lore relating to gods and religious practice. Sleight of hand, which is your character's ability to perform manual tricks such as picking a pocket or planting evidence. Stealth, which is how sneaky your character is. And survival, which represents your ability to live in the wild, such as tracking creatures, hunting game, and moving through treacherous terrain or avoiding natural hazards. Now you'll notice that each one of those skills has an ability associated with it, meaning that when you make a skill check, you're using the ability modifier of the listed skill as part of your roll. For example, if you want to jump across a chasm, you'd make a strength athletics check. Roll in a d20, add in your strength modifier as well as your proficiency bonus because you're proficient in athletics. However, sometimes you or your dungeon master may want to use skills in different and creative ways, allowing you to use a different ability modifier other than the one listed with the skill. For example, if you wanted to threaten someone by breaking something or flexing your large muscles, your DM may allow you to make a strength intimidation check. This is a great way to get creative with your character and do things differently. If your character was super intelligent, instead of using their dexterity to sneak quietly into a location, they might spend some time monitoring the guard patrol paths and use their knowledge of building construction to identify a point of entry and then apply the principles of leverage to open the door into the building.
Savvy.
Sometimes your DM will rule that only someone who is proficient in a particular skill can attempt the task. This represents the divide between basic knowledge on a subject and advanced training. For example, most characters would know how to apply pressure to a wound to stop someone bleeding out, so would be able to use the medicine skill to stabilize a dying comrade. But only someone proficient in medicine might be allowed to attempt surgery on that character. Before you make a skill roll, check with your DM to make sure what you're attempting is within realms of the possibility for your character. Just like with ability checks though, a character can attempt to aid another character in a skill check that doesn't require specific knowledge, granting them advantage on the skill check. So to recap, to perform a skill check, you roll a d20, add the relevant ability modifier, and then add your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in the skill. Then add any other modifiers and compare that to the difficulty class set by the dungeon master. If the result is equal to or higher than the DC set by the DM, you succeed and you've performed the skill. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about saving throws and the special dice that determine if your character lives or dies. If you are new to the series, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode, and you can catch all the previous episodes in this playlist over here, and don't forget to check out howtoplaydnd.com for extra resources. But until next time, happy gaming!